Hello, everybody. Dawson with D-Dog Pickleball here.
Cody with Dinkin' Donuts.
Yes, love it,
Sorry, I
love
had to
it.
change my chair.
All good. Today's pod is brought to you by Flick Weights. Look at that transition. Seamless. Love it. All right. Anyways, I am holding here their speed coins, cap coins, whatever you want to call them in that regard. I've
Flick
seen
weights.
people Flick Weights. I've seen people call them a bazillion different things. I just call them Flick Weights like Cody just did right there. So there you go. The green one is the 7. The bronze colored ones are the 9. I actually like the 7 more now, but I used to swear by the 9 personally. The 7 is part of the tungsten series for these, and the 9 is the copper series for these. They offer both of these along with the weighted bands, which are something we've talked about a lot on this podcast, and a variety of other accessories. Be sure to check them out at flickweight.com and tell them the boys from the Not Another Pickleball podcast sent you. All right, let's do it, dude. So,
All right. Pod makeover.
pod makeover. Let's talk about.
Yeah,
So, I'm sure you guys are well aware. It's time for a logo update on the pod.
very
Nothing
much.
wrong with the old logo. It's just a little boring. And our wonderful graphic design master, Cody himself, has sent me some wonderful displays in which we voted on. And we decided on one that I'm going to flash on screen now. And yeah, I think it looks cool. I think it looks pretty dope. Thoughts, Cody?
I like it, but I'm also a little biased. I am not the graphic designer. That would be the boss, aka the wife.
Yes. Yes, she did a
She
wonderful job on it, in all
she
seriousness,
did,
so thank you.
and she
But
took
yeah,
like a whole trip to Oregon and worked on that while I was driving.
I love it, I love it. Great time to work on that. Anyways,
Yeah.
so we're also gonna move the pod to I've talked with Cody about this a little bit offline, and I think it makes more sense on his channel. It's more similar to some of the more long form videos he's done, and I think it'll get better traction there. I think with my channel, there's just so much bleh of paddles and all this other stuff going on there that I think it gets a little bit hidden in there at the post rate that I'm posting at. We're going to do that move. The Instagram might get a move or a remake. TBD on the Instagram. The YouTube move is definitely happening.
Yep.
Pod will be the fine and the same otherwise.
Yep.
Nothing changing with the pod. We'll still be here. We'll still do it. And yeah, that's pretty much the makeover for the pod.
Yep.
Moving
Nothing
on
too
now.
crazy.
What's up?
Said nothing too crazy.
Exactly. Nothing too crazy. Moving on now. We have Duper Reset. I'm going to let you start with this one, Cody.
But dude, go ahead and hit on it. I'll pull it up real quick.
All right. So pretty much Duper sent out an email, and ironically, the first thing I did was forward it to Cody and my doubles partner immediately the second I saw it. I saw the name of it, and it said, looking to reset your Duper? Duper Reset. And then they talked all about the parameters of this and all of that, and I've got some thoughts on it personally. I'm gonna let Cody pull up the exact dates and get you guys the full info once he does that. But I kind of look at Duper Reset like this. I don't know many other sports. I think maybe other than golf, like with your handicap, that you can reset a rating or change a rating by paying money to do so. I think it's a little, I don't know. It's a little interesting, but for a whopping $36 and change, you can do a Duper Reset. I believe it starts March 16th, something like that, to May, I believe either 15th or 16th. And it's basically a 2-month period for this reset in which you can
All right. Reset
do this.
period, March 16th to May 17th, confirmed.
Perfect. And it's basically a time period in which you can do this reset in which you go play a tournament with at least 2 different partners. So it's got to be at least 2 tournaments, really, or you go do 2 different Duper leagues. I think honestly a smart way to do this, maybe if I was someone doing the reset, would be get yourself in a Duper league for like a 4 to 6 month time span during this period, and then go play a tournament with someone you don't play with in the league normally. And there's your 2 things. Now, what I've read and what I've been told, and I have messaged and asked Duper about this, is either rating, if your old rating is better than your reset, or your reset is better than your old rating, you keep the better of the 2. So there's no
Correct.
virtual loss to this, which I guess that does make sense since you're paying to do it, on top of obviously the entry fees and all that stuff that you're paying. But I don't know, dude. It just doesn't I played 20 years of tennis growing up. since I was pretty much 5. Never once did I get a chance at a rating or ranking reset. So it just feels a little cheesy to me. Like,
I think
even just,
there I think there's just
you
been
know,
so many changes into how Duper is calculated that they are trying to recover some of the prior mistakes that they've made with Dupers and the algorithm and how that thing has worked. And because of that, I think there are maybe people that don't think that their Dupers reflect their actual level of gameplay. But I won't be changing mine. It's
no.
not worth the just shy of $40 potentially change my Duper. I'm not going pro, not playing in qualies or anything like that.
Well, he is playing semi-pro league tryouts right now. So,
Nah, didn't make it. So it's all done and over with.
who knows? I could see you doing a pro qualifier or 2. You were pretty jazzed up about them when you were texting about it last week. You were like, "I just need
Yeah,
a partner that'll do them." Like, so, but
we'll
yeah,
see.
we'll see. I could see you entering 1 or 2 pro qualifiers depending on where the tournaments are and all that.
Mainly just because I want to see what that next level of gameplay feels
Yeah,
like.
why not? Hey, you got
Tired of
nothing
playing
to
the same
lose,
people.
Well, the worst thing that happens, okay, you get smoked, cool. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know what your expectations going into that are depending on the person, but, hey, you know what? You get to see that level, that next thing, you get to go and experience it, why not? But, yeah, I mean, I thought about for the reset because my duper is a little deflated, to be honest, than what it was for a long time. And I just was like, it's not even enough that I would care enough to do it because my duper has fluctuated so much in the past year, even though I have hundreds of games play over the course of probably 5+ years now at this point of tournaments. And it's like, just, I don't really like it's never really been something that's made or break me personally, my duper. It's always been usually like, "Oh, you know, this is what it is currently," and I kinda roll with it like that. I think at the time of recording, I'm around like a 4.2, which is okay. I would imagine I'm a little stronger level-wise than that, but, at the same time, like, I don't think it's enough that it's a huge deal to like, I don't think I'm like a 5.5 that is a 4.2 duper. That would be ridiculous. But like, you know, I think that would be, kind of maybe the ballpark. I will admit, I do know one person that their duper is very low compared to their level, like astonishingly low. And that's someone that the duper reset probably would make sense for, but I don't even know if they're going to do it. So it's like, you know, we'll see. I honestly, I do agree with you on the algorithm thing. I struggle with why it has to be a paid fix. You know, why if it was such an issue to change the algorithm all these times, why aren't we just automatically doing this to everyone's duper? You know,
Mhm.
like if all the dupers are off per se, why aren't we just putting in a forced fix over a course of I don't know, you probably have to make it bigger than 2 months at that point, probably a year or 2 would be my guess, maybe even 6, 8 months at the earliest, just cuz you got to give people time to figure out that news and then enter tournaments. The one pro I see to this duper reset is I think tournaments are going to be pumping March 16th to May 15th. I think everyone under the sun is going to be doing tournaments because they want that duper reset period. So I'm actually looking at it as a great time to play tournaments because you're going to get good competition. So I think that is the one pro to this. And if that is the one thing we get out of it, then I guess that would be a good thing in a way.
Yeah. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll admit though, I thought this was a lot faster than it would happen because they teased the idea in like December, I think, on some stories on Instagram and stuff. And then here we are in March 1st at the time of recording, and it's here. So, all right, let's move it on from that though. You got anything else for the duper reset though?
No, nothing for the Duper reset.
Let me ask, would you do a duper reset?
No.
Yeah, I'm not doing one either, personally.
No.
All right, let's move it on. We got paddles galore. All right, Cody, start us off.
Righty. Battles galore. Where do we want to start with? Let's start with one that I know we both have, and let's go with the Carbon True Foam Barrage. Dude, you're rocking a 4. What?
Yeah.
Not rocking the wide body? That's interesting.
No, this is one of the few paddle series where I prefer the hybrid over the wide body, actually,
And look
which
at
I'll
you,
talk about in a little bit.
you're copying me.
Yep. You got point 0.5 or you got 1 gram?
1 gram.
I got 0.5 on it.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm sitting 2 and 2, so 4 grams total.
This is 1.3 total. I measured it out to be the exact. I actually really like this weight setup a lot of the time for bottom corners. So, because I like a little more tape on it rather than more centralized weight, if that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, go ahead, man. What were your thoughts on this one so far?
I'm gonna steal a comment that you and I had prior to going live. This is what Carbon wanted the waves to be.
Oh, yes, 100%.
Absolutely. This is what Carbon wanted the waves to be. This is a noticeable change from the True Foam Genesis. I never hit the waves, so I can't speak on it, but there's definite notice from the Genesis to the Barrage, and it plays great. However, with that, for me personally, the Carbon 4, it needed the weight. It definitely needed the weight, and like I was just saying, I have the weight, 2 grams at 4 and 8. I have no weight elsewhere, but I might add a little bit just to play around with it. And man, I just can't do stock grips anymore. Like the stock grips seem like they're getting more and more slippery as it goes on to the point where I am surprised I haven't like tomahawked my doubles partner when I'm playing with them just because I'm like, I'm about ready to lose this paddle out of my hand. So, over grips go on and we go from there. It plays good. I think it is sneaky power. I don't have any speed tests or anything like that done yet, just because my radar that I've been trying to get going is being a pain in the butt, so I haven't been getting radar numbers on it yet. But it's sneaky fast. Like I'm hitting it and driving and serving, and I'm like, oh man, this doesn't feel that fast. And then I talk to my opponents, like, no, that's coming as fast as anything else you ever hit at us, and you're I say this like every time I get a new paddle, but they're like, the spin you're getting on it is just crazy. And I'm like, I don't, I mean, they don't have any type of, their long lasting grit like the Infinigrit or Hex Grit or the Blue Grit with Honolulu. They haven't done anything. It's just carbon fiber. I think it's just a swing development change for me that my swing is now changing to where I'm getting a lot more top spin where the ball is dipping super, super hard. But I'm really liking it. I hit with the Carbon 2 a little bit, but mainly my buddy was hitting with it, who is coming from a boomstick elongated, and he is loving the Carbon 2. Like every time we're playing now, he's like, "Hey, you have the Carbon 2 with you?" I'm like,
That's
"Yeah, I do."
that's how it
And
happens
so
right there.
yeah. And so he took a like little itty bitty piece of weight, and that's
Oh
all
my
he's done
goodness.
to it.
Oh my goodness. Well, it's in a good location at least.
Yeah. And he's loving it. Like I said, I've been really enjoying the 4. I was messaging with one of the Carbon guys because the Carbon did a looks like it sounds like they're gonna do a split launch. Right now the launch is only gonna be the 2 and the 4. The 1 and the 3 will come at a later date. We don't have those dates offhand right now, but there was somebody here where I play that did have a Carbon 1, and so the guy at Carbon and I were chit chatting, trying to figure out if it was a knockoff. It doesn't sound like it's a knockoff. Sounds like it's super legit. But I'm looking forward to that elongated. I know I've been kind of leaning and playing with wide bodies a little bit more, but in my heart, I'm still enjoying the elongated paddles. But right now, I'm heavy on the Carbon 4. Feels great. What do you think?
Yeah, so I haven't hit the 2 yet for this series just because due to the timing of my vacation, I came home to 15 paddles. So I've been reviewing a lot. And
Must be
I only had
nice.
room in the bag for 1 carbon, and the 4 has been the shape that I've gravitated to pretty much since it came out. Prior to that, like, the Genesis Carbon 2 actually was a main for me in January of last year. So, again, it is a shape I do like as well, but the 4 is much more my jam usually in the carbons, so I wanted to hit with this first. I played 1 game with it stock, and I had the absolute same feeling. I was like, "Can't do it." Like, need to add weight pronto. Honestly, even a couple points in, I kinda realized that, but I'll usually tough it out stock regardless to get at least the one game under my belt if we're playing games or certain drills. For me, I did a pretty similar setup. This is just less weight and a little more mass because, just like we had mentioned, I kind of like the weight more spread out rather than heavy in a hyper specific area, especially when it comes to weight on the bottom, just because I'm someone that likes weight more up top than the bottom. I really like this paddle with weight. I think that this is a paddle that, with the right amount of weight, it still feels like a 14 to me, in my opinion. I don't think this is one of those things where it feels like a 16, which is something that is becoming more popular with a lot of the 14s. To me, all of the carbons have always felt very muted and very, power that is very kind of underassuming almost. Not really even underwhelming, but just like you don't realize how hard you're hitting the ball with them. And that's why I will be curious when you get that radar gun up to see numbers on these and compare them to something like a Boomstick, a Loco, a
Hmm.
Quanta, a Diesel Pro, just to name a few paddles that would be good comparisons to these. I like it. I do think Carbon eventually needs to switch to a permanent grit solution just because my last two Carbon paddles, in which I put significant time on, the grit wore out fairly quickly. And I have a feeling that this is the same grit as those two paddles. So if that is true, that's a tough sell for me at this price range. But I do think that this is the paddle, like you said, that the Waves was basically trying to be. And I also think that this plays more like a harder hitting Genesis than it does the Waves, per se. As
Yeah.
someone, I did review the Genesis, I did review the Waves, I reviewed all the shapes for both of them. I plan on doing all the shapes for these eventually once they're all out. So I'm give that from my personal experience. And then overall, dude, this is just a great shape. Like this is a very good hybrid shape. There's more than enough handle for a two-handed backhand, but you're not getting some massive handle that slows you down a bunch. You're getting almost maximum dimensions across in all directions, and it just feels good. I'm
Yeah.
gonna go into, let's talk Volair here. So I want to talk about I actually have all three Volairs here. I'm gonna hold up two in particular. I know Cody is gonna hold up his elongated one. I do want to start with the wide body on my end, which, first of all, I had someone tell me this looks like a pizza peel. It's very, very much looking like a pizza peel now that I look at it more. Like, I'll tell you though, this is the same shape as the Mach 2 Forza, which was Volair's best-selling paddle, hands down, for a long time, and probably their best paddle for quite a long time. It's still a great paddle. And same shape, same great feeling. This paddle is the lightest swing weight in my database that I've been working on for the past 2 weeks as of right now. It is a 102 swing weight stock, which is like unheard of.
I think your
So,
graffiti's broken.
dude, I thought so too. And then I recalibrated and I did it 4 more times.
Okay.
102 every time. I even emptied out all the beads. It's actually right there too. Fun fact. There's the graffiti. I emptied out all the beads. I put in new beads, all that stuff. 102 swing weight. That's how light this thing is stock. So I think I did a game with it stock, and then I almost immediately added 1 gram to all four corners. Are you trying to pretend to be your own graffiti right now?
Yeah, I think it's like a one. I think it's like
I
108.
could see this. I was like, all right, graffiti Cody. That was funny.
Yeah.
But honestly, I think this needs way more weight than what I put on here. I think I'm probably gonna wrap the head in 1 gram tungsten tape. If not, even possibly go 2 grams and go even sharper on the corners, because even with the weight, it's like a 106 now. It's pretty ridiculously light. It's almost like getting a stock wide body of a 16 that's very light or a 14 that's kind of regular. With the weight, this thing's poppy, dude. Like, this is like pop a ball through someone's chest kind of poppy. So I struggle with placing this because of that, because I do think from the baseline, it does not hit very hard. But when you get to the kitchen, wow, like, this is some serious pop. I find it interesting that these are only 14ths. Last time they did this shape, I guess it was not part of a series, but they did it with 14s and 16s. I think this would have been interesting to see in a 16, just to see the iterations and the changes to it, but I like it so far. This is still a great shape. in my opinion. And also two-tone, awesome. Two-tone
Sick.
is awesome.
Yeah.
Like, I've been doing this still just, like, in free time, and
Yeah.
it looks great.
Yeah.
So, alright, talk to us about this elongated, Cody.
So I have a little bit of gameplay. You can see some ball dust on there. Nothing super heavy yet, just because I've been hitting tons of paddles, just like what you were saying here a little bit ago. It feels good. I want to grab something real quick. Can't remember where I put it. There it is.
Wanna see some ball dust? Here's the hybrid. Yeah.
It's a
That's a
pretty good
lot of ball.
contact. But
Yeah.
so what's interesting is their core. Let me flash that up. So the cutouts. Now I haven't messaged with Volair. You have that contact, so maybe you can message him and see if we can get a little bit of reasoning by why they did all these circular, not circular, but roundish cuts in the center of it, and see what they found to be beneficial to that. But it feels good. The elongated definitely think has a little bit slightly less pop than what you're claiming, but it
Yeah.
feels good, especially stock. And I don't usually play paddles stock very often. I almost always have to add some weight, and it feels good. Carries good power, ball carries good depth, puts good pressure on the opponent. That's also player, swinging the paddle as well. But I find that I can place the ball very well. I don't feel like it's anything like out of control power or anything like that. I would say it's, I won't even say I wouldn't say even say it's mid-level power or top power. I would say it's maybe low leaning mid-core power on the elongated, but it feels good. The, stock texture on it feels good. Even in the areas where I've been primarily playing, it's still carrying a good amount of grit. I haven't taken an eraser to it or anything like that. Here's my take. I don't think the erasers are really all worth it. I think I'd rather have the ball dust on there because I actually think the erasers wear the carbon down more than what it was supposed to. So I don't ball dust my paddles or clean my paddles with the erasers. I'd rather just take a little bit of warm sudsy water and wipe it out and dry it with a microfiber and call it good. Just kind of like how I care with my boomstick. With the Infinigrit, you don't take the eraser to that, and that's just usually how I clean my paddles, or I just leave it. But I like it. I agree with you. The two tone, especially in the elongated, that blue and the green
Yeah. This
is
is my favorite two-tone of the 3.
is definitely freaking awesome. I do have the hybrid right here behind me. There you go, sweet. Yeah, like, the light blue is okay, but that dark blue and the green is sweet.
For comparison. There you go.
Yeah, boom. I have my own opinion on the other piece that came with it, but I wanna hear your take. What's your take on the drawstring bags that it comes with? I'm like,
They're
I
behind me right now. I actually just moved them for the pod. I kinda like it because hear me out, I use some of the drawstring bags that I'm sure you've played a tournament where they give you the orange Pickleball Central generic drawstring bag,
yeah.
um, as, like, part of the entry. I use them as shoe bags, dude. Like,
Mm,
so I don't know about you. Every time I finish playing, the first thing I do is I go like this with my shoes and clap them out, and I just watch all the ball dust fly out
yep,
because I don't wanna carry that home with me and, like, bring it home, and I do that, like, probably 2 to 4 times, and then I put it back in the bag, and then just string the bag up, and usually most of those bags will fit a pair of shoes. Listen, also, in terms of they send it, I'd rather a paddle have more protection in the mail than less. So I have no issue with it in that regard, in terms of protection. Now, nerding out for a moment here, I'll say the same thing I say about when camera lenses get sent in a drawstring bag. I don't think it's very protective. I think that the packaging and like the air sealing and all that, way more protective than that. I will admit, Volair is actually really good about packaging and package presentation normally. I think it's tough for us to see just because these are review-specific units, so they kinda tone it back for those, whereas customer units, it's usually a little bit more. I like it, though. I think that it's unique. Would I carry paddles in it? Like, multiple? No. Like, that's a great way to chip paddles and basically destroy your paddle face with random marks and scars and scrapes over time, so I'll leave my
yeah.
opinion there. Why? What do you think about the drawstring bags?
I don't use drawstring bags, but
Yeah.
after your little hot take on shoes, I'm like, maybe
It's
I
not a
maybe
bad
I
idea,
will.
dude. Listen,
But the bag
whoever
I run has like a specific shoe compartment, so
whoever invented shoe compartments like this on the bottom of bags, where all your stuff falls to the bottom of it when you hang it up, and then all your stuff when you pick it back up goes back up. And secondly, I don't know about you, but I don't want my gross shoes in a bag that also has like my personal items, like my cell phone and stuff like that, and all that stuff.
That's
It's
why
just
there's
kind of
different.
gross to me.
That's why.
Like, yeah, but listen, it depends on the bag. That bag I just held up is a $60 Amazon bag. Like, the shoe compartment in it, not the best. Now, maybe one of these, whatever, like forward bags that are like $200 plus or something like that. I'm sure the shoe compartment's a lot better. But a lot of the times they also offer a cube in which you can put the shoes in. Again, without going super in depth on that, yes, I hear the shoe compartment argument. Historically, even in tennis, I've done this method though, and that I find is the most effective.
Hmm.
It is another thing in your hands though, or on your shoulders. So I will say that.
Dawson's goals for 2026: bag shoe compartment reviews.
No, I don't. I'm good on shoe compartment reviews. I will do bag reviews though. I'm happy to do that. But and I actually have a funny comment chain with Forward about a bag where I was like, can it fit 2 cameras, 2 tripods, and 6 paddles? And they were like, no bag can. And I was like, valid. So I was like, not safely at least.
I
Although
don't know. I carry 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, probably like
this can
12
carry
paddles.
12 paddles. The bag
I'm
I just
carrying
held up.
12 paddles, my Briodes, my grip case, an area for tungsten tape and just stuff, balls, my tripod for my fence. Like my shoes. I carry a lot of shit in my bag.
Yeah, I do carry a lot of shit as well because I also carry my fucking camera and camera tripod. We'll fix that part. That's fine. But sorry guys. But it is late here. A little after dark moment there. Anyways, yeah, I love that in editing. But so I'm with you, dude. Here's the thing though. I stopped doing 12 paddles to the court, and here's why. I never hit all 12 in one session. I'll
Nope.
always hit, I can hit probably 5 to 6 in a session legitimately and seriously and long enough that I'll get something out of it and get a good feeling for them. The second I usually pass, at least for a 2-hour session, the second I pass that number, I find it very difficult to get productive stuff out of them without confusing it with one of the prior paddles or mixing up opinions or stuff like that and thoughts. So I usually limit myself at carrying 6 paddles to the courts. Sometimes I'll do 7 to 8, depending on if I want to do 6 new paddles and have whatever my current main is with me. I'll tell you though, lately I've hit so many paddles, including these Valairs, that I don't even bring a main half the time anymore.
Mm, nope.
I do want to talk about the elongated because I had a very similar experience to Cody, and it is the one I have the least time on of the 3. To me, this was a 14 that felt like a 16, which is almost always praise when I say that. And I didn't feel any dad weight. I played mine stock as well. I'm much like Cody, going to be curious to see how it feels with weight. And I think it plays great out of the box. 100% with you on undergrips, stinking though. And Valera's undergrips, they're okay. They're not the worst offenders. There are worse offenders out there. But yes, they do need an overgrip, in my opinion, for sure. So I'll agree there with that, and I'll leave my thoughts on it with that. You said you had it mid power to low power. Was that right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I think it's low power, maybe mid from the baseline. I don't think it's mid from the kitchen line though in terms of pop. I think the pop profile, like you said, is pretty low for a
Yeah. It has
14.
definitely a higher power
Yeah.
profile than the pop.
Exactly. Yeah. I agree with you there. Whereas I think the wide body is the complete opposite and like almost to like a polar level of opposite, which makes the hybrid an interesting one to talk about. I don't know how much time you have on your hybrid, but
I don't.
I actually have put the majority of my time on the hybrid so far, and it is pretty much identically that carbon 4 shape, and that was what made me so intrigued by it. And this is a brand new shape for Volair too, and is the Dylan Frazier signature shape. So this is what he's playing with on the PPA tour currently. Um, I'll admit I don't know if he's playing it every time because I know he is notorious for shape switching a good amount, but this is his signature paddle. So I think it's a great shape. I think it plays good. I would not recommend playing it stock much. It was very, very inconsistent stock. It had that tingy feeling. It had a dead spot right here. Did not love it. Second, I put weight right here and in the corners. Played way better. Way, way better. And plays much more like a 14 hybrid that I would expect. I actually still think this thing has more pop than power. I think this, if anything, is more towards the wide bodies profile, but you're getting a little more baseline oomph than the wide body, similar to the elongated. So you get a little bit of the best of both worlds. I do think this is a hard to control paddle, though, if I'm being honest, of the three. I don't think this is for someone that's struggling, maybe popping dinks up and stuff like that. I think this is for someone that's looking to put balls away at the kitchen line, whether it's with spin or with power. So that's kind of my, 411. Again, these are all first impressions, early impressions, whatever you want to call them. These are not
Yep.
reviews. We will do dedicated reviews, at least for the Volairs. I know that much. And the Carbon. At
Yep.
least for the Carbon. At least for the Carbon 4. I can't speak to the other ones yet. Got to put time on them first. All right. I'm going to pop into a paddle that I know is on the way for Cody. It did not arrive to him yet. I do have it, though, now, and I've hit with it a few times, so I'm going to chat about it. The Cyclotron Zeus 001. I know that Cody actually has the 14 millimeter version of this, the Mox 001. That's what I was curious about. It is a different shape. Okay. So, yeah, if you see in the corners there, Cody's got like that Honolulu elongated type of shape, whereas this is more like the pickleball apes X elongated shape. So I think it's very interesting that they're changing the elongated shape up. Cyclotron's catalog is still developing, is how I'll put it. I think that once they clean up their catalog a bit, it'll be a lot easier to read from a customer standpoint. But pretty much this is the power paddle, is how they're marketing it, and I think that's correct so far off of 2 hits with it stock now, and it hits hard. Yeah, I was about to say, it hits really, really hard. Honestly, kind of almost too hard for its own good at times, especially from the baseline, because you can rocket the ball with this thing. I'll tell you though, that sweet spot, it might be like the size of a penny and right under that logo, like right there-ish, and that's about it. At least stock. I think this is a paddle that with some weight would benefit. The only problem with adding weight to it is you do enter a high swing weight zone. I believe stock, it was just under 120, which is pretty heavy. So at least stock. With weight, I think you can get to like 124, 125 and not really go above that. You could be okay in terms of hand speed. At least how I look at it. I mean, everyone's different. Yeah, I also like that they cleaned up the design a little bit. And it's a very bright red that I'm noticing now. I'm
It's hard
pretty
to tell on the
sure.
camera. It looks a little
Yeah, it looks a little dull, I think, as well. But yeah, I mean, I'm looking at it and yeah, I don't know. It's not the most Zeus color per se, in my opinion, but I like it. Definitely looking forward to more time on it. Also, this handle is long. Like, this is 2 hands on it. Normally, when I do this, you can't even see the bottom of the handle. Like, it's completely covered. As you can see here, you can see this whole portion that just shows I'm not even doing this piece to give it more room. This is 2 full hands on it. I'm a pretty tall guy. I'm 6'1" with fairly large hands. So that's just showing you get a lot of handle with this thing. Oh, but yeah, those are kind of my thoughts on that one. Oh yeah, there you go. Yeah, that one had a long handle too, I thought, right?
yeah.
Yeah,
And especially like when I choke down, like I choke
yeah,
down, I like having a little bit more whip. Like,
yep.
man,
Baseline whip. Yep. Yeah, I only got sent the wide body for those. So I never got to
and
hit
I
the
only got
mock.
the
I was about to say you only got the elongated. So I think Cyclotron watches the pod and they just wanted to send us our preferred shapes of choice at the time. So I told them though in the future we'd much
full
rather do the
catalog.
full paddle line just to get a gauge of where the differences are. But it'll be interesting to see what you think of that compared to the Zeus shape. And then what I think of this compared to the wide body of that. The other thing too is this is a 16, whereas those ones are 14s.
Yep.
So that'll be interesting to
Interesting.
see. I actually thought those were some of the 14s that played more like 16s too, with 14 pop still.
I don't know.
At
They
least for
feel
the
pretty
wide.
14y to me.
Maybe for not sort of the elongated. For the wide body, I felt it was pretty close to a 16. I actually compared it to, I think, the Alpha Pro Power Pegasus in my video, and I thought they almost played identical. But yeah, I'm going to cover one more real quick that is on the way for Cody as well. Cody, the mail just doesn't love you this week, dude. So, which is fine. There's been a lot of snow all that stuff,
I don't
especially in
have
this
snow
area.
here. It was 57 here today.
Dang, I wish it was 57 here. We had snow
I
today. So, on top of like every other day here. This
just
is the new
redheaded stepchild.
Gearbox Power by Gearbox. And this is the hybrid version right here. Pretty much identical to the GX2 Power hybrid. The one shape difference that I noticed with a buddy of mine that mains the GX2 Power hybrid, they finished the handle. They didn't leave the weird little extra taper room for like right there where the handle ended here and then it was like face and then paddle. They finished it. I think it's a way, way better paddle in that regard. And they also brought the face down just a smidge more. And I think these small changes, they're very small, but I do think they helped it a bunch. And this to me just feels like a much better paddle. This feels like honestly nothing like from what I've hit prior by Gearbox. It feels very much more hollow and Gen 3 esque while maintaining certain properties that like a full foam paddle would maintain. I have to double check the stuff I was sent. I don't remember if this is a Gen 3 or Gen 4 paddle off of my head at the time of recording. I believe it might be Gen 3, but if I'm wrong, I will fix that in the comments. And yeah, I really like it so far. To my knowledge, this is T700 raw carbon fiber too, which I don't think Gearbox has done since some of their earlier stuff. So that will also be interesting to see. I also like to, they do what Apes does. They do a logo side and then they do a forehand side of the paddle. A lot of companies, they just mirror it on both sides. Gearbox is one of the few that has been consistent about doing that on the paddles along with Apes. So yeah, early thoughts. Also, this played amazing stock. This is one of the few paddles I actually would consider playing stock, but I'm going to add weight for the sake of testing and reviewing. Super light in the hand compared to the GX2s, much better swing weights and numbers to back it up. So I think that that is all good selling points for these. And I think the price point is going to be fairly on the better side for the consumer compared to the GX2 powers.
I have that for you.
Oh, you do? Marvelous. Hit me with
Yep.
it.
Let me get it pulled up now that we talk about that.
Yeah,
All
actually, tell
right.
me what that core is too, while you're at it,
I don't know
if
if I
it's
have
in
that.
there. That's
Yeah.
okay.
All right. So retail price 179.99.
Yeah, that's
10
pretty good for
10
this. 180?
off using our affiliate or our codes. The SST core 2.0 carbon rib core. Gen 3
Yep, okay.
honeycomb.
Yep. So it is Gen 3. Okay. That makes sense off of the
Um,
hollow feeling then that I was feeling.
yeah.
So, for sure. Yeah, I really liked it. My buddy that mains the GX2 Power hybrid was, like, basically trying to buy it off me after hitting with it for, like, 4 points, and I was like, "Dude, no, I need it back." Like, I gotta review it, but,
So
like, you know.
unibody construction, a free
Okay.
face movement. So a suspended honeycomb core allows
Interesting.
the face to move more freely, a consistent energy return, precision tuned flex, and a suspended Gen 3 honeycomb core. So preserves the familiar pop while delivering explosive power with a controlled, predictable response. So is
Now, one thing
what they're
that
saying.
Gearbox has always been big on is durability. So who knows? Maybe this is their claim to having solved Gen 3 core crushing and issues. I don't know if that's what this is being marketed as or being portrayed as, but I would be really interested to see how that holds up over long term. So now actually knowing that information, I will probably durability test this as well. So I'll be curious to see how it does versus, you know, your traditional Gen 3 paddle is how I'll put it. I'll honestly probably use my almost Dunzo Alpha Pro Power for that test. So, yeah, I think that'd be a good comparison unit to us. So,
Did the grip feel small?
no, I actually thought the grip felt more flush than the prior grips. I thought all the prior Gearbox.
What about in circumference?
I don't know. I didn't measure circumference on it specifically, but
Because
I
they're
mean, I
saying that it's
can.
only a 4-inch grip,
Okay. I actually like that
five
they did that because you can fatten them up more than thin them. So,
the handle length says it's about 5.5,
yeah, that
and
much is true.
they are going to come with a 6-month warranty with an additional 6 months upon registering it.
I did see the register stuff in there. I did do that for the elongated. I didn't do it for the hybrid yet.
And then, yep, the elongated is the same thing. 4-inch grip, 5.5-inch grip handle length, and I don't have
Now
swing weights or anything in there.
I have them. That's fine. They're in my spreadsheet, all the stats for those, which is linked to the pod. So they'll have it in the description as well. I actually thought these were a lot lighter swing weight and twist weight wise than the GX2 and the GX2 powers. One thing with Gearbox that I want to call out now, and I'm going to call it in the review as well. Why did we cancel the hyper shape? Like, a little confused there because that was a good shape. I will admit the hyper shape was like a smaller version of a wide body. It wasn't far off from a training paddle at times, to be honest, but that is still like the regular GX2 hyper is like my go-to if I'm not testing anything at all indoor, like almost foam ball equivalent training paddle. Because if you can hit with that smaller contact zone, you can hit with a bigger one, in my opinion. So it's a good sweet spot trainer in that regard without going to a full sweet spot trainer. And it's a good paddle, to be honest. Like, I feel like I could play with that right now and play fine. It'd probably be all court at this point, more so than power, just because it's the original GX2s, but they still hit hard. So, but yeah. So that's my kind of early thoughts on the Gearbox. Actually, the elongated is behind me right there. I haven't hit it yet. I just gripped it up and all that. Like I said earlier in the video, finally got a chance to grab a couple paddles, so I went with what I got. All right, Cody, you have something that I don't. Let's see it.
Yes. And we're gonna go with the Mavericks Havoc 2. And, I haven't played with many of these shapes, but it's interesting. I know the other shape that I do have, or the other paddle company that I do have that did something similar, is the Gator Strike Armor, where
Yep.
they cut off the top. And
Let me go
so
grab that real quick.
yeah. So talking with the owner or main person of contact with them over at Mavericks, his name's Matt. He's posted some videos about this. And what they wanted to do is they wanted to keep this as an elongated style paddle, but make it lighter. And so what they found is even if you have a full, elongated style paddle, you hit up here, you're never really getting any, energy return off of it anyways. So they cut off the corners to lower the swing weight. And so at the way this sits is it's a 15 millimeter paddle, P700 carbon fiber, 8.1 ounces stock, and this says it has a swing weight of 114 with a twist weight of 6.5. However, I got a piece of paper with me that they are saying generally their static weight is going to be around 8 ounces, 110 swing weight with a 6.1 twist weight. But they also, in their box, I can't show you the box right now, but it has a QR code. QR code takes you to their site where it tells you where you can strategically place 3-gram weights that come with your purchase. And they have it broken down into different categories, whether you want it on the bottom, the middle, or the top. And it changes your swing weight, twist weight, and everything according to your fit, which I think is kind of a cool thing. I have the,
Oh,
printed piece of paper right here that tells
interesting.
you what everything does. However, like I said, that's going off, probably one of their test dummies at 8 ounces and a 110 swing weight. Like I said, mine's printed on here. That's kind of something cool that they did is they give you the specs of that paddle on it. I like it. It feels good. I haven't added any weight to it yet. I do want to add weight. I think I'm going to add it up in the corners, to be honest, but I may come down here. I've been finding down at the 4 and 8 position has been a little bit more enjoyable. It's different. Everybody else is going 16 and 14, and they went with a 15. I think it feels like a 16 when I'm hitting with it, and it feels good. I know some people are going to be concerned about the paddle shape, but I wouldn't shy away from this paddle. I wouldn't shy away from this company. I think they are going to be doing big things, and I think they took, 2025 off, came out with this, and did it right. And this paddle feels great. I know that you were talking with Matt, and it sounds like yours is coming, just gonna be coming a little bit later.
Yeah, a little
That
delayed.
makes me feel good. I'm finally getting a paddle before you do. I don't feel like the redheaded stepchild in this case.
My
Um,
goodness.
but this paddle is going to sit at 165, 164.99 retail, and with a 10% off code, it brings it down to 148.50. Feel like 148.50 is a excellent price point for this paddle. It feels great. I really like it. It definitely did take a little bit of time to get used to with that those edges cut off. And again, like you shouldn't be hitting the paddle where those edges are cut out anyway, or you shouldn't be hitting the ball
No.
where the cutouts are. But I found that I was edging it a lot in some of those areas, which just, amplified to me that hey, your ball contact is a little wonky today. So I was able to kind of like tune in and fix that. So super good paddle. They're putting out only the one paddle shape, but I feel like they're gonna be doing stuff moving forward. Um, and I really like it. So
Yeah, I really like the shape. The Gator Strike's also 15 millimeter, which I know you know. So it's actually a pretty common millimeter for the shape I'm finding. The Yola Agassiz is the only 16 I know in this shape. And the Yola Agassiz's curves are actually a little deeper than the Gator Strike and what it looks like from the Mavericks over there. I know Mavericks had this shape for a couple years now.
hmm
And we're kind of I think the pioneers of it per se is how I'll put it,
yeah, I do.
to my
I do
knowledge.
too.
So I know that they kind of did that. And the big sell with the Yola Agassi along with the Gator Strike Gen 5X is that it's a higher sweet spot, but it's almost like a juicier, like tennis-esque sweet spot. So a lot of former tennis players really like this shape because it almost feels like a tennis racket in that regard, and they can get a dwellier feeling with it. So I think it's a great elongated shape. I've been a fan. Now, I think there's ways to do it well and ways not to do it well, like depending on what route the company goes with the shape, because some of them are a little different from the spec sheets and stuff I've seen and felt. But yeah, I think it's a good looking pedal. Also, isn't yours like teal and something else too, color wise?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
So it's
that's probably the most vibrant colors, I think, for
like a
Maverick.
light
Eight.
blue and white, and then neon grip
I
color.
like it. I like it. You just wanted to be a noticed color.
I did. Absolutely.
Exactly. All right. I was about to say, Cody, do you have any other paddles for us? I was about to say, I didn't think so, but hey, who knows? All right. That is it for Paddles Galore this week. Also, thoughts on the name Paddles Galore for this segment in the future, guys? Let us know in the comments because I am opening to naming this segment whatever you want to name it. Cody's got all the paddles behind him right now, even. Look at that. Um,
Yeah, trying to get a
But
little bit of
I like
display.
it. I like it. But anyways, moving on now. It is time for main of the week. All right. You want to start or you want me to?
I'll go.
All right, go for it. What's your main, dude? Whoa. What's going on
Yeah,
there? You got two?
yeah.
Oh
I
my
cannot.
goodness.
I can't
And no
decide. I've
RPM?
no. However, the RPM is all juiced up right now. I got the trigger grip, the Hesicore,
Okay.
and
Okay.
the U dripping red because U dripping's the only
Ooh,
one that's offering a red grip right now. So
really? That is
yeah.
interesting to me. Huh.
But yes, these are the two mains of the week. That's the Carbon 4, you can see it right there, and then the
Yep.
Mavericks that I just talked about. These are the two that I've been playing predominantly when I'm getting frustrated with how the gameplays are going and I need to turn to something. Those have been to the two paddles that I've been turning to and leaning into mostly. Both feel good, both feel they fit my style. One's the elongated, one's a hybrid, so I'm kind of getting best of both worlds. If you wanted me to add a third, I do have a third that we didn't talk about, and that would be the Beyond Measure Ronin wide body.
Wow. As a main?
Yeah,
Wow, dude. Holy cow. Look
it's
at
right
you
here.
naming a wide body. Who is this guy? Who is this guy? That's a great paddle, by the way.
It is awesome.
That is a great paddle. I actually just reviewed those. I just finished that review. It premieres March 2nd at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. For those curious, I talk about all three of them. You know what I actually revisited that I did a different weight setup for and ended up liking it even more was the Ronin Elongated.
Oh,
The short handle one, not it's like the carbon 3 shape. That's what it is
yeah.
basically. Yeah,
The old Selkirk Invicta shape.
it's like the old school elongated shape. Like back in the
Yeah.
day, every paddle had this shape and the handle honestly was a little shorter even. So, but yeah, those are great paddles, all the Ronin series. And that I like it. That might be one of your first all courts in a while in the main
hmm
category too.
Yeah.
So I think that's definitely an interesting change for you. All right. I guess we can do this in, I guess, an interesting way. One of my mains I'm not allowed to show. So I'll leave it like this. It's very similar to a prior main of mine, and it's by a company that has a lot of numbers in its name. I'll let you guys figure out the math from there. Now,
And it may reflect
my
jelly beans.
yes. The main that I can show and do use, and if I was in a tournament, I would be playing with, is still the Joy S Plus by Pickleball Apes. And this paddle just does well. Same weight setup as before, just the big 6-inch strip of 0.5 beyond measure tungsten tape. I did this time, I made it all one strip rather than the 2 different sections because I was testing before and I had done it in the middle originally, and then I put it in the corners. I still haven't felt the need to do the bottom corners, dude. I will admit there's a touch of instability in the bottom corners, but I almost like it for this shape, which kind of sounds weird. But yeah, this has been what I've been rocking. I still think this is probably the best looking paddle out there right now. I just think this looks sweet and plays good, to be honest. Like, I still think it hits the ball good. The grit's been fine. I'll admit, the amount of reviewing that Cody and I are doing right now, I don't get to put as much time on it as I was back when I was reviewing it. But, I do still think it's a great paddle. It fits my game well, and yeah, it's kind of a boring main of the week when it's the same one as the last time we record, I guess. But, look, hey, that is also a good thing because it means that the paddle's still doing it for me. I will admit, I would be curious to see this new gearbox with some weight on it. I think that could potentially creep into that category. I would also be curious to durability test it, but yeah. So, all right, we are on to the bonus section of the podcast. All right, dude, what do you have coming up? Any tournaments, anything like that?
I have a tournament coming up end of March, just a
Okay.
normal tournament, a 4.5 plus tournament that's going to also carry a cash prize. It's not really a money
Wow.
ball, like so to speak, like that brand tournament, but it is similar to a money ball where
Okay.
first place has a prize. I think the best thing that I have coming up is I leave for Hawaii at the end of the month.
Need that
Yeah.
vacation. That
Yeah.
sounds good, dude.
So I'll be in Hawaii and it is a spring break trip, but I've now turned it into a
Uh,
business trip. So it will
they got
be
good
a
people there from what I hear, dude. So,
a vacation slash business trip. I'm gonna meet up with the guys from Trigger Grip
okay.
and go hang out with them. There may be a video that comes of that, just talking about their grips, but those guys and I will get some gameplay. I'll get some recording of it. Get some video footage, but I'll go hang out with them for a couple hours. But that's probably the most exciting thing that I have coming up. So tournament in Hawaii. What about you?
Honestly, this is going to be the first month since January that I probably do have a tournament because my partner is doing a Duper reset. So I want to help him through that process. I also want to see how it goes for him because I'm going to be really interested to see how the number moves and how it compares to the prior number. But yeah, so nothing on the books yet. But I am planning on getting in some tournaments again, March into April here. Honestly, usually May, June, July, and August are like prime tournament season for me because it's summer. So I don't have as much work then outside of reviewing, and the weather's nice out, so I can hit outside, which to me is still my favorite form of pickleball. I do
Same.
like indoors though, and I appreciate it, but yeah. So I don't know what yet. I was looking at one that's at the Pickler, but I think it's before the reset period, so I don't think we'll end up doing it. Might do it just for the heck of it, to be honest. But yeah, so I'm definitely looking forward to those. Probably 4.0 or 4.5 in them. It depends how the listing is. A lot of the times in this area, they'll do a 4.0 2.45 or like a 4.0 plus or a just 4.5 or a 4.5 plus. So it just depends on how the listing goes, but I usually aim for 4.5 stuff in that, and if it's not available, I'll do 4.0 plus. So, but yeah, I mean, I'd be excited for those again. I'll admit, I've been doing some self-entered Duper games as well to see how that goes. I haven't done this in like years, and we almost made it into like a little mini like self-run league, and that has been kind of nice tournament practice too.
Hmm.
Yeah, I actually really recommend it. If you have a consistent partner and you can play another consistent partnership, just be like, hey, do you want to go best of 5 or, whatever, best of 3? And then after that, we do the whole swap partners thing, rec games for fun thing, like
Yeah.
just one chord of it. I've even done it with 3 courts of that, and only 1 court is the Duper games, and then everyone does the whole big rotation thing and all that. It's a lot of fun, and it goes by really quick. I've done a lot of format experimenting too, as a former tournament kind of director, helper, whatever you want to call it. So my latest experiment was 1 game to 15 going into Duper, then swapping partners so everyone plays 1 game of 15 together, and you get 3 games no matter what, and see
Okay.
how that moves your Duper compared to just playing with 1 partner. And Duper actually prefers you to play with the 1 partner more, is kind of that experiment has found to me, of taking, I think it was either 8 or 10 people with Dupers in a very similar range. I think the farthest off in the range was probably 0.5, which is a pretty big
Hmm.
gap, but it's not like a 1.0 gap where it's an
Right.
entire number. So I think 0.5 is within margin. Yeah, so I found that Duper preferred when I played with my consistent partner, result regardless, as opposed to playing with different people. And I actually had a pretty good record during the span. I only think I lost once during it, so,
There you go. There you
I'll
go.
take it. And I was not the one entering the games either, so I will take it. I just helping with this, I knew when they would be entered, so I got at least the advantage of knowing how it would move the Duper and then charting that down. And I think that might be
Yeah.
something to do a video on at a later date. I think I need to do it more first for like probably a year almost, and then see how it moves, depending on if we get another algorithm change or not, which
Yeah.
I honestly, I was about to say, I could see that coming, to be honest. So
I
I'm
have a
kind of,
feeling that we do have one coming.
I think we do too. I think with
Yeah.
this Duper reset thing, that makes me think that an algo change is around the corners.
Yeah, totally.
But yeah, I mean, other than that, not much. I would like to try to do 1 tournament a month at least. I feel like that's a fairly reasonable goal, but it also depends on locations and
Mhm.
timing.
I
As
think
you
I'm gonna be
know,
about once every other month.
yeah, that's what I am right now. I was about to say I did 1 January, and it's the beginning of March now. So
Yep.
I've 1 every other month. I'm gonna try to do 1 a month going into these next 2 months just because of the reset for my partner, but
Yeah.
we'll see. I mean, what's interesting with the reset is he has to play with another partner too,
Yep.
and he hasn't done that in a tournament in, like, I don't know, 3, 4 months. So, I found that very interesting, which isn't a super long time, but it's just like he was like, "Dude, I'm a little annoyed by this. Like, I would
I mean,
rather
it's not
just
that
play
bad.
with you."
Play a men's doubles game or a
Yeah.
tournament and then do mixed. There's your 2 partners.
I know. I think it wants, like, for the most accurate number, and I'm not sure if this is true or not, it wants, like, if you do gender doubles, it wants you to do gender with the other partner, I think.
Hmm.
Off of studying how Duper works through these games, I tried that too. Like, I tried tossing some mixed games in there too, as opposed to men's, to see if the number would move more, and it actually moved less, to be honest, because it
Oh.
was it was more used to me playing men's doubles than mixed, and because mixed, think some of the ladies' Dupers might not have been as high, so that might have also messed with it too. But yeah, I mean, honestly, I'd be curious to see how that goes. So yeah,
Hmm.
I think it'll be an interesting time Duper wise. But yeah, all right, man. That's all I got for bonus. You got anything?
That's I got nothing else. So I think that's a wrap.
All right, let's wrap this up. All right, adios.